to discuss. Okay, great. So now we're gonna start our reading. I want to read Oana Cajal's bio. Unfortunately, she's not able to join us today. She sent a little message. She said she sends her love and profound gratitude to all the participants here, the poets, translators, editors, and publisher. And Ioana Ieronim, who translated her poem, will read Oana's prologue of the book entitled Solidarity, Reversible Ekphrastic Poem. And Oana Maria Cajal is an award-winning playwright, visual artist, screenwriter, and poet. She was born in Bucharest and immigrated to the United States in 1980 with a grant from the American Theater Association. And she has written plays that have had successful performances in cities across North America. And she's also a visual artist. She published a book of picto-poems and had numerous solo exhibitions in Canada, United States, and Romania. She's also a Fulbright scholar and the recipient of the National Endowment for the Arts Playwriting Fellowship, and an alumna of New Dramatists New York, a member of Dramatists Guild of America, Writers Union of Romania, Theater Union of Romania, the Union of Fine Artists of Romania, Playwrights Workshop in Montreal, and Playwright Guild of Canada. Her play, The Last Pact, was voted Best Play of 2011, and her screenplay for the feature film The White Gate was nominated for the GOPO Awards in 2015. And I want to introduce Ioana Ieronim, who is one of the editors of the book and the translator of many of the poems here. Ioana Ieronim is a Romanian poet, essayist, playwright, and translator. She is the author of narrative poetry In Triumph of the Water Witch, which was published in multiple editions, including in England and Germany, and Lavinia and Her Daughters, a Carpathian elegy translated by Adam J. Sorkin, with the author, published in the US, other online volumes of English, When Big Is Not Beautiful, The House of the People. She translated extensively poetry and drama from Shakespeare to Tony Kushner. She was an editor, cultural journalist, Romanian's cultural attaché in Washington, D.C., Fulbright program director in Bucharest, recipient of the Mihai Minescu Prize of the Romanian Academy, member of PEN America and of the Writers Union in Romania. She lives in Washington, D.C. and in Bucharest. So please give a warm welcome to Ioana Ieronim.
So, yes, I'm going to read Oana Maria Cajal's poem, which in fact also is an introduction to the book and to the concept of the book, ekphrastic poetry. So, Solidarity, a reversible ekphrastic poem. Homer described Achilles' shield. The Coingi Museum in Mariupol has been bombed. Shelley described Da Vinci's Medusa. Russian forces have now destroyed the Maria Palmachenko Museum in Ivankiv. The poet clasps a ripped canvas to his chest. It's the painting he has been looking for. It's the painting he has dreamed for so long. The painting that his words have been trying to trace in a poem. Bombs fall relentlessly around him. From a sky of terrified angels and muted prayers, the blood of memory oozes bright among broken sculptures. Walter de la Mare described Bruegel's winter. In Mariupol, the smoke of art and death rises to the sky. The poet desperately summons words from the depths of night to scratch one last poem, describing the paradise painted on the maimed canvas, the painted that he had longed to see, the painting he has dreamed for a lifetime. He tries, he struggles, he cannot do it. And suddenly, a miracle. Poets from far away appear on the ruins. Each of them brings a gift of words from home. Queenji's portrait is drawn back from memory. Poets together set their words in a shattered window, an ekphrastic poem, painting and verse in one breath, one embrace of universal empathy. Queenji's portrait echoes from a distance. Maria Primachenko is beaming in her paradise of colors. Poets smile, still bleeding, but no longer alone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ioana. So in the order of the book, I didn't say in the beginning, in the interest of time, we'll each read a poem from the book. And in the order, I know I had Lyuba Yakimchuk listed here. I'm not sure if she's on the call, but if she is, if you are, Lyuba, please let me know or turn your sound on. And are you on? No? Okay, maybe she'll be on later. We'll move on to Magda Cârneci. Magda Cârneci is another Romanian writer and famous Romanian poet. This whole book reads like a who's who of Romanian poets, Ukrainian poets, and poets from the respective diasporas. So I'll read Magda's bio. She's a Romanian-born poet, prose writer, art essayist, and translator with a PhD in art history. After the revolution in December 1989, she became actively involved in the political and cultural Romanian scene. A cultural activist, Cârneci was the president of a Group for Social Dialogue and of Pen Club Romania, and is a member of the European Cultural Parliament. She has published many books of literature, cultural essays, and art history. Her poems have been translated into numerous languages and appeared in many anthologies. Some of her volumes of poetry in Romanian are Kaosmos, published by White Pine Press, and The Deafening Silence by Shearsman Books. Her feminist novel Femme has been translated into French and English and published in English by Deep Vellum and was a finalist in the PEN America Translation Award in 2022. And in 2019, Magda Cârneci received the Legion of Honor from the French state. So I would like to invite Magda Cârneci to turn her mic on and read us the poem in Romanian first.
Hello, good evening. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to do my best. Yes. Well, thank you for inviting me at this beautiful symposium for Women's Day, for the Women's Day. And I want to say that I feel honored to be invited in this project by Oana Maria Cajal 2 or 3 years ago. And it was for me an opportunity to express my outrage feelings against the war in Ukraine, and to collaborate with her and with the other poets was really a wonderful experience. I will read in Romanian first my poem, and then I'll invite Ioana Ieronim to read it in English. O suferință oceanică. Dacă n-ar durea tare trupul de fiecare dată când cineva ar fi înjunghiat, mutilat, împușcat, lângă noi sau pe continente îndepărtate. Dacă am simțit cum se dărâmă pereții caselor noastre când un obuz lovește un sat din Ucraina și distruge măruntele locuințe, lăsând la vedere lenjeria de pat pătată de sânge, și sângele ar striga și ne-ar asurzi. Dacă am orbit brusc când o explozie aruncă în aer blocuri înalte, stadioane și catedrale, transformând în scrum tot ce poate arde, chiar și privirea noastră opacă, iar incendiul s-a ridicat deasupra pământului și ar lumina toate cotloanele lumii și ne-ar arăta așa cum suntem, jivine absurde, creaturi monstruoase, fantome nesimțitoare și surde în căutarea unei justificări. Dacă ne-ar durea fizic până la os mizeria noastră, frica, lașitatea, inconștiența, tăcerea, dacă ne-ar durea cruzimea, ura, sălbăticia, pofta de sânge, dacă ne-ar înneca o suferință oceanică și toate celulele noastre ar îndura la unison gustul putred al morții care plutește peste câmpurile de lupte și fosele comune, unde ne recunoaștem chipurile pe toate cadavrele. Poate atunci ne-am trezi. Thank you.
It is quite emotional to go through these poems today when bombs fall on Ukraine. Pain as big as an ocean. If we hurt, if our bodies hurt every time someone is stabbed, maimed, fired at near us or anywhere in the world, if we felt the walls of our house crash when a shell hits a village in Ukraine and destroys the small dwellings and exposes bedding soaked in blood, and the blood shrieks to deafen us. If we were suddenly blinded by a blast that blows up high-rises, theaters, and markets, reducing to ashes everything that can burn and our eyesight too. And if the fire rose above the earth to light all nooks and crannies in the world, showing us the way we are, absurd beasts, monstrous creatures, blind, insensitive, and deaf ghosts in search of justification. If our misery, our fear, our cowardice, our torpor, silence, cruelty, hate, savagery, and thirst for blood hurt us to the bone, if pain is big as an ocean, if pain as big as an ocean drowned us and all of our cells suffered the rotten taste of death, then we might awaken.
Thank you so much, Ioana. Thank you. Very moving. Thank you, Magda, too. I want to ask again if Lyuba Yakimchuk has joined. I'm not sure if she did. If she's not here by the end, I'm going to read her poem. She expressed her desire to join our reading, but maybe something came up. So next, according to our order in the book, Ioana Ieronim, do you want to read us your poem from the book?
Yeah. I chose to read a lullaby in a shelter. Hush-a-bye, little baby, time to sleep. Close your eyes, sleep without fear. Mommy and Daddy guard you from harm. They fight orcs and ogres and monsters and fiends. Your mommy and daddy are out there, saving lives. Hush, little baby, let me rock you to sleep. Your brother has just learned how to walk. He learned even faster to listen and tell whether it's enemy missiles or it is our air defense guns that we hear. Hush, little baby, hush and sleep tight. Mommy and Daddy kept treasures for you in their hearts and minds. Every home and street as they used to be, until evil rockets blew them to dust. Above our heads, even here above. Hush-a-bye, babe, your angel brings sweet dreams. When bombs fall and the city shakes and sways, when more explosions rock all that there is, in the ground and above us, in the ground and above. Sleep tight, little baby, grow fair and strong. Soon these monsters and ogres will be no more. There is a tomorrow, I promise, for you and us, when they won't be here anymore. Ogres and orcs will all be gone.
Thank you. Wow. Okay. I just got chills. Thank you so much, Oana. And now I'm gonna call Ruth Margraff. Ruth is also one of the editors of the book. She has been called a leader in the American avant-garde, critically acclaimed for her martial arts operas with composer Fred Ho for the Apollo, Guggenheim Museum, La Mama, Brooklyn Academy of Music, and CMI. Her writing for Seven began touring the world in 2008, introduced by Diane for Fusterberg at the Broadway Hudson Theater. She has received awards from Rockefeller, McKnight, Jerome, NEA, TCG, TMUNY, NYSCA, Fulbright Foundations, published by Innova Records, Dramatis Play Service, American Theater, Theater Forum, Performing Arts Journal, and many others. And she is an alum of Theater Without Borders, New Dramatists, Playwright Center, and Chicago Dramatists, as well as a professor at the Art Institute of Chicago. Please welcome Ruth Margraff.
Oana, for being such an inspiration and friend to all of us. And it's an honor to be here. I'll be reading Balcony of Two. It's a poem that is also a dialogue as a critique of war and classical operatic seduction. There'll be two voices, a woman looking down from her opera box.
Sorry, can you speak up a little more?
Yes. Sorry. Is that any better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll hold this. The woman is looking down from her opera box. Why have you turned the sun away? Why have you yielded to the rose torment? This wandering already in your eyes when my tongue was asleep with you. These reckless shadows that we rolled away, flung to the sand like children. The soldier says, I can tell you that it was a windmill blowing away the wings of the wind. I can show you how the windmill, after all the high seas, rumors of ice in your ears, your tiny bottled ships sailed too quickly to the harbor. Rains came down to bullet holes and crater marks to measure, and the ladies crush against their velvet at the column after column after column of the ruin. I am a widow. I am a stone, they cry. I am a lamb knelt down on broken knees to suckle my worship. The soldier says, the windmill's blown clear through with sands, the wind still galloping across the warrior strands of flaming horses in your hair. Your tears in English I can understand when you roll your bitter grapes. Did you think I would be your charioteer, coming quickly for your horses? Did you think you would understand my horses, speaking softly so they don't run wild? The woman says, I did think you would be more of a shepherd boy, tilting back the women at the well with a strum of harp strings. You see, of course, my soul has left my body, here where I clung to the promises at the break of turquoise bronze, turned to the corners of my longing to and fro. Things like this I tried to choke away and never speak such shadows that would truly ruin us. And then a woman and soldier duet, where the candles dipped in wild honey blew so wild in our minds, clung to the railing of the promises of salt and flesh again, where the candles dipped in wild honey blew so wild, in our minds. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruth. How moving. Thank you so much for everything, for all your contributions and all. I posted in the chat the link to the original video of this project, of the Shadow Project, which includes Ruth giving a recital of some wonderful poems. They're her Viburnum poems from the book, and it's moving. So I encourage you to watch that when you get a chance. So next we have Kiva. Kiva is a Romanian it's a Ukrainian poet and translator. She's the author of 3 poetry collections, Further from Heaven, The First Page of Winter, and Laughter from an Extinguished Fire, as well as a book of interviews with Belarusian authors, We'll Wake Up Different, Conversations with Contemporary Belarusian Writers of the Past, Present, and Future of Belarus. Kiva's poems have been translated into more than 30 languages, and full collections have been published in Bulgarian, Polish, English, Italian, and Swedish. In 2023, she participated in the University of Iowa's International Writing Program, and she's going to read in the original Ukrainian, followed by Katherine Young. Katherine Young is her translator. She is the author of the poetry collections Woman Drinking Absinthe and Day of the Border Guards, which is 2014 Miller Williams Arkansas Poetry Prize finalist, and the editor of Written in Arlington. She is the translator of a memoir by Anna Starobinets, fiction by Akram Aislisli, and Russian language poetry from Kazakhstan, Russia, and Ukraine. Awards include the 2022 Granum Foundation Translation Prize and a 2017 National Endowment for the Arts Translation Fellowship. From 2016 to 2018, Young served as the inaugural poet laureate of Arlington, Virginia. So please welcome first Kiva to read in Ukrainian, followed by Katherine.
Claudia, I think we have lost Iya. She was here at the beginning of the reading and has not come back as far as I know. I've sent a message.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Sorry, we couldn't see you on the phone. Great.
Sorry, I had some problem with connection from no laptop. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for my being in this anthology and opportunity to be today here. Now, how obviously, not Ukraine, but they say US go from not good times. And I want to remark that Katherine translated my poem that I wrote about Russian-Ukrainian war in 2016, that it was on its local stage, but how all we understand, even we don't stop dictators, quickly dictatorship spreads itself everywhere. And now my poem. Чи є в нас в Україні гаряча війна? Чи є в нас в Україні холодна війна? Як не вже зовсім немає війни? Обіцяли ж, що буде після обіду. На власні очі бачили оголошення. Війна з'явиться після 14:00. І ось уже 3 години без війни, 6 годин без війни, що як війни не буде аж до самого вечора. Ні випрати без війни, ні їсти зробити, чистого чаю, без війни не напитись. І ось уже 8 днів без війни. Від нас пахне недобре. Дружини не бажають лягати з нами до ліжка. Діти забули, як усміхатися і ремствують. Чому ми завжди думали, що війна ніколи не скінчиться? Нумо ж, гей, нумо ходити по війну до сусідів, по той бік нашого зеленого парку, боятись розплескати війну по дорозі, вважати життя без війни тимчасовими труднощами. В тутешніх краях вважається неприродним, якщо війна не тече по трубах у кожен дім, у кожну горлянку.
Is there hot war in the tap? Is there cold war in the tap? How is it that there's absolutely no war? It was promised for after lunch. We saw the announcement with our own eyes. War will arrive at 1400 hours. And it's already 3 hours without war. 6 hours without war. What if there's no war by the time night falls? We can't do laundry without war. Can't make dinner. Can't drink tea plain without war. And it's already 8 days without war. We smell bad. Our wives don't want to lie in bed with us. The children have forgotten to smile and complain. Why did we always think we'd never run out of war? Let's start visiting neighbors to borrow war on the other side of our green park. Start fearing to spill war in the road. Start considering life without war a temporary hardship. In these parts, it's considered unnatural if war doesn't course through the pipes, into every house, into every throat. And Claudia also asked me to read it.
Thank you so much. Yes, I want to read Lyudmila Kersonska's bio first, because Katherine also translated another Ukrainian poet. Lyudmila Kersonska is a Russian language poet of Ukraine. She's the author of 7 books of poetry. 2 collections of her work have been published in English, The Country Where Everyone's Name is Fear, in 2021, and Today is a Different War in 2023. Kersonska's poems appear in Hayden's Ferry Review, Poetry International, Tupelo Quarterly, The New Yorker, The New York Times, and in the anthology Words for War, New Poems from Ukraine. In 2017, she was named one of the 33 international women writers who are bold for change by Words Without Borders. She lives in Odessa, Ukraine, and she couldn't be here today, but Katherine will read her poem.
The enemy never ends. He's just trouble that spreads like lichen on the brain, like moss underfoot. The enemy's there, where your own folk are offended, where they're humbled. The enemy's there, where you can't keep quiet. The place you wanted to explore, protect, shield, that's where the enemy appears, plants his hoof on the earth. To that hoof, all living things are just blood, death, earth. From Kremlin, to Crimea itself, to Crimea, stretches moss, moss, moss. But the enemy says, cross, cross, cross. And people shrug their shoulders, turn aside, and walk right by.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Katherine. Next we have Monica Pillat. She's a Romanian poet, essayist, and novelist, and she's a descendant of a family of famous Romanian writers, artists, and leading politicians, whose members were subject to severe repression in the years of the communist rule. Her work includes volumes of poetry, fiction, memoirs, and literary criticism. Her poetry holds a special place through its musical expressions of spirituality. She has reconstructed her family's recent history in volumes that contribute significantly to understanding the country's historical realities. She was a professor of British and American literature at the University of Bucharest, and she's also a member of the Writers' Union in Romania. And I will welcome back Ioana Ieronim to read her translation of Monica Pillat.
Yes. This is like an echo to that Ukrainska, I Will Not Die. You'll see a little. The One Who Didn't Die is the title. The One Who Didn't Die. The one who didn't die will return from cellars of terror to light. With a smoking mind, he'll knock at the door of the hut shattered by shells. He will wait for a while, then he'll enter and find himself still outdoors as his steps sink in the ashes. Then, from nowhere, the yelp of a dog lost among ruins calls him to the yard in shambles. Alone, each of them, they will save one another.
Thank you so much. Next, I'll be reading my own poem from the book. It's titled on BBC News, The Places Where I've Never Been. And it's inspired really by the images that we all saw when the war broke out on TV. And what struck me most as I began to work on this project and I reacted to Oana Cajal's the visuals as well, it was how familiar all buildings and all the landscapes were. They really looked like it could have been any town in Romania, any town in or the countryside of Romania. The people looked the same, buildings looked the same. It's really eerie and it moved me and it made me so it was my personal direct connection with this conflict. So the poem is titled on BBC News, The Places Where I've Never Been. I recognize that road, a tongue of asphalt edged with crooked poplars, twisting for no apparent reason between two villages. I recognize that village where my mother-in-law could live, and its old women wearing house dresses and flowered headkerchiefs. Each house has a few chickens scratching the yard in the small garden where women grow cabbage and potatoes. I recognize the eyes on the potatoes. I've seen them open in the earth. I recognize that apartment block, a sprawling socialist concrete structure stretching along a boulevard named Victory or Independence, filled with little cement boxes. And in each box, a family like ours, the furniture of my parents' youth covered in crochet doilies and an old Russian TV. I know by heart the ballerina bibelots, the color-blown glass fish in the ubiquitous vitrina, the cabinet holding a bottle of Shivas and liquor glasses we used only on rare occasions. I know the balconies, the playground, and the cars, even though I've never been to those cities. Bombed cities that could be my hometown, streets that look exactly like the one of my childhood, strewn with bodies, where only limping three-legged dogs still live, and the dead open their eyes in the earth. Thank you so much. And now I want to introduce a dear friend and poet from the Ukrainian diaspora, Dzvinia Orlowsky, and read her bio. And I also want to read bio because she's in this book as a translator as well. And so I'll read Natalia's bio as well. Pushcart Prize poet, translator, a four-way books founding editor, Dzvinia Orlowsky has authored 6 poetry collections, including Bad Harvest, a 2019 Massachusetts Book Awards must-read in poetry. Her newest book, Those Absences Now Closest, was published by CMUP in 2024 Ali Kinsella and Dzvinia's co-translations of Natalka, Bilo-Cerkiewicz's Eccentric Days of Hope and Sorrow was a finalist for the 2022 Griffin International Poetry Prize and winner of the 2022 AAUS Prize for Translation. They received the 2024 NEA Translation Fellowship for the translation of Halina Kruk's Lost in Living. Their co-translation of Alexander Dovzhensko's The Enchanted Desna is forthcoming from Lost Horror Press in 2025. And she's also going to read Natalka Bilo-Cerkiewicz's poems, one poem. Natalka Bilo-Cerkiewicz has written 5 collections of poetry. Her work, known for lyricism and the quiet power of despair, became hallmarks of Ukraine's literary life of the 1980s. The collections Allergy and Central Hotel were Books of the Year in 2000 and 2004, respectively. Eccentric Days of Hope and Sorrow, a collection translated into English by Kinsella and Orlowsky, was a finalist for the 2022 Griffin Poetry Prize. Her poem, Will Not Die in Paris, became the hymn of the post-Chernobyl generation of young Ukrainians who helped topple the Soviet Union. She lives and works in Kyiv. Please welcome Dzvinia Orlowsky.
Thank you, Claudia. It is really, truly an honor to be here reading with everybody and celebrating International Women's Day with such powerful work and artists' interconnections. I'm going to read Natalka's poem first, and I regret she cannot be here to read it in Ukrainian, but this is a translation by Ali Kinsella and I, and it's called The Skin Gets Drier and Thins. Skin gets drier and thins, as does life, on contours of recently familiar faces. All of youth is crazy faith, like the wistful cry of a lost animal. And thirst and contemplation and the poverty of food shops, cafeterias, a freshly painted spring of April ravines from far-off outskirts. Everywhere signs of impassable loss. Someone will become the humus of native fields. Others will fill the city waste sites where a factory crowns housing with a crematorium pipe, and the path to heaven flutters like a banner, and a sarcophagus shines over hell. The poem I'd like to read is inspired by Oana Maria Cajal's powerful paintings, and this one is called War. But another inspiration for this is as I was watching the news and realizing that the volume was being turned down on the war. It was almost like not reported anymore, and yet these bombings were occurring. And it just prompted me to Google how many deaths must it take to it be considered a war? And Google responded, 1,000 lives. War. But the first 100 are only fooling. They've saved their caboodles from drama class. Death makeup is a breeze. They clear their throats, step into the spotlight center stage. A mother applauds. Outside moonlight carves its solid world. The second 100 are children again. They run through fields of daisies, fingers interlocked, index fingers pointing, rat-a-tat-tat. We're safe. Migrative imagination. Pretend machine guns execute a pact. The third 100 drag their feet, lost, heavy with song. Song is healthy for the soul, but who will listen? Fearful neighbors slam their doors shut. Surely you understand, they whisper. The fourth 100 never vacate their apartments. They're still there, lying quiet in their beds. Prayers pack their bodies. A concrete city block disintegrates between earth and air. The fifth 100 simply refuse to die until they find their daughter's favorite stuffed bear, the one with black button, blind eyes, that keeps her safe at night. The sixth 100 press their ears to a hollow wall. Who is shouting in the dark? Not everyone who hears voices is unwell. A plastic view master, a last luxury to be held in their son's hands. The seventh 100 cry a creek, a stream, a river. The eighth 100 don't remember first words, don't hear last screams, their mouths open like that of a toddler gasping for air. A living heart, here. The ninth 100 believe they are still warm inside, the way a burning forest believes it's a perfect metaphor for the spiritual world, even after its ash. 999 are missing one who got away. Praise be. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dzvinia. That was tremendous. Next, I want to invite Ksenia Rychtycka. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Let me read her bio. Ksenia is a debut poetry chapbook, A Sky Full of Wings, won the 2022 Eric Hoffer Book Award and the 2022 Best Book Award in the Poetry Chapbook category. Her short story collection, Crossing the Border, was a finalist in the 2013 Next Generation Indie Book Awards. Recent work has appeared in Peninsula Poets, The Poetry Distillery, The Literary Bohemian, and in other places, and in the anthology Ukrainian American Poets Respond and the Poetry of the Feminine Eye. Ksenia worked as an editor in Ukraine during the early years of the post-Soviet era, and she lives in Michigan. Please welcome Ksenia Rychtycka.
Thank you, Claudia. It's Rychtycka in Ukrainian.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a mouthful. So if people get my first name right, I'm very happy about that. Thank you. I just wanted to thank you, and I'm very honored to be part of this anthology, and just so incredibly moved in reading the anthology and just listening to all the poets and the artwork. I'm going to read my poem called Carpathian Homecoming. When mother pressed me to her breast, song of the Carpathians cascading like the Prutsky Falls from her lips, I swallowed whole. I spoke your language, even though separated by ocean and iron curtain. Smuggled poems of dissidence laid bare the pain of trampling boots, sting of whip borne on your back. Bruised but never broken, you welcomed me home, daughter of reluctant refugees, bombarded by bullets and bombs. Even as they fled west, they never stopped looking back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, I will welcome Adela Sinclair. She is a NYFA grant-winning Romanian-American poet, translator, and teacher. She's fluent in English, French, and Romanian. Her poetry is her primary but not exclusive medium. Her chapbook entitled La Revedere was published by Finishing Line Press in 2022. Her poetry explores themes of cultural identity, memory, loss, trauma, and desire. Her works appear in The Bridge, published by Brooklyn Poets, and Tupelo Press's 30/30 project. Adela's poem on April 26, 1986, Chernobyl Exploded, was published in the winter anthology Healing Felines and Femme by Other Worldly Women Press. She's currently working with an editor on her first full-length poetry collection, The Butcher's Granddaughter, which meanwhile, since this bio was published, is now available for pre-order and it's a lyrical memoir of her childhood in Romania. Please welcome Adela Sinclair.
Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you so much to the editors of Shattered. My heart is shattered. I am shattered. And to be here, so much time that has passed and the war still raging in Ukraine. The poems that are being shared here today amongst us are the container for my heart. So I'm so grateful. And in return, I just want to offer a small container that I included in that was included by the editors in the anthology. So the poem is called Abecedarian After Maimed Alphabet. This is the painting by Oana Maria Cajal that inspired this. Maimed Alphabet. A sea of bullets become the plot of our lives. Corroded cities conjure our heart maps. Die. Any body can die. Effortlessly, life slips past corners of our buildings. Few are safe, nurtured, but all are loved. Graves follow our names like the plague. Hiding deep inside hinders the enemy from the find. Irradiating heaps of hope in a sea of destruction. Just wait, just wait. The salve you need, you shall receive, kindred souls. We root for your freedom, love, and restoration. Mountains have been moved with your power. Never give up, sisters and brothers. 1 year, the war is still, painful attacks, pivotal bounce backs, quickest respite, reverberations in our hearts of hearts, sending you strength to harness better tomorrows, undaunted by the frightful enemy. When time stands still and you fight for your country, X marks the spot. You are our resilient heroes. Zenith to Ukraine, rise to the top. Mulțumesc din tot sufletul. Vă mulțumesc tuturor.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Adela. I want to take a minute and acknowledge Christina Bejan, and she's the fifth editor. We were fifth co-editors for this collection. Just gonna say a few words. She's an award-winning Romanian-American historian, theater artist, and poet. She has a PhD and also is a Rhodes and Fulbright scholar, and she is also a prolific playwright with plays that have been produced in the US, UK, Romania, and Vanuatu. And very fortunate to have her as our co-editor. I encourage you to get the book, and there are many other poets and wonderful poets and wonderful translations that I think you can read. And one of them is Adina Dabija, our next reader. She was born in Iași, Romania. She worked as a journalist in Bucharest before she pursued her studies in Quebec, Canada. She now lives in New York, where she practices acupuncture and hypnosis. Her first book, Poezia Păpușă, was awarded the Bucharest Writers Association Prize in 1998. She published Stare Nediferențiată in 2010, for which she was awarded the Tomis Prize in Romania. And then in 2011, she published Beauty Beast at North Shore Press, Alaska, which I had the pleasure to translate. And in 2012, her first novel, Shaman, was published by Polirom in Bucharest. Some of her recent writings and interviews can be found at soulcenter.com. Please welcome my friend Adina Dabija.
Thank you so much, Claudia, and thank you to all the editors who made this possible. Thank you, Oana Maria Cajal, for inspiring all of us. And I think the most important accomplishment of this project is right now, because we are here today in solidarity with human suffering, which is universal, to shatter the illusion of powerlessness and separation. We are really here to pray together and open this alchemical field carrying prayers for peace. So what we do, what we are matters. And just to echo the poem Ioana Ieronim read in the beginning, and I was so touched by it because although I have the book, I didn't get to read all of the poems. So what Oana Cajal said in her poem is, poets from far away appear, still bleeding, but no longer alone. I'm just gonna weave now my offering into this collective prayer and read my poem, Symbolic Gesture. A dandelion blooms in the cracks of a collapsed building. There is no need to cure the spilled blood with skilled words. A simple gesture of pointing the finger to the miracle is enough. There is something more precious than gold, more precise than drones. It infiltrates minds in the same way the truth doesn't let the criminal sleep at night. It's like a bad weed. You pull it out and it grows back, stronger. The next season, stubborn as hell. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adina. Next, I will invite Sylvie Simmons. Sylvie Simmons is she's based in the UK, and she's an award-winning writer, the author of fiction, nonfiction, poetry, and songs. Her books include I'm Your Man, The Life of Leonard Cohen, which has been translated into nearly 30 languages. Sylvie is also an iconic music journalist. She started writing about rock in the late 70s, a time when female rock writers were a rarity. A longtime singer-songwriter and ukulele player, she signed a record deal in 2014 and released a debut album that the UK Guardian described as one of the most beautiful albums of the year. She's born in London and she lives in the UK and the US. She continues to write about music and make albums. Please welcome Sylvie Simmons.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. I'm absolutely honored to be here. This has just been so many powerful and beautiful words that I've heard spoken on this. Oana sent me some pictures, and the one that, or paintings, I should say, and the one that really slapped me in the face was a picture of a building that was still standing, but the whole of the front had come off. It was like an apartment building that was like a doll's house in a way. And I was looking in that window, and this is a very short poem, but it's the words that came to me immediately after looking to it. And this also is called War. A light overhead reveals everything you cannot clean. So many broken things. The hole where a wall used to be. The dip in the mattress that holds his imprint.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sylvie. I would like to ask if, again, if Lyuba Yakimchuk is here. Did Lyuba Yakimchuk join? I'm not sure. I don't see her, but I wanted to make sure. And also, is Nina Kossman here? Nina also expressed a desire to read, but I know she's away, and I'm not sure if she was able to log in. Nina Kossman? No? I want to read, I'll just read Lyuba Yakimchuk's bio briefly, because I think I just want to read her poem in translation. She's an award-winning Ukrainian poet as well as a screenwriter and the author of several full-length poetry collections, including Like Fashion and Apricots of Donbass, and the film script for Slovo House unfinished novel about Ukrainian artists persecuted by the totalitarian system against the backdrop of the Holodomor famine. Her writing has been translated into more than 20 languages. At the 2022 Grammy Awards, she performed her poem Prayer in English as part of John Legend's performance of his song Free. The book Apricots of Donbass has been recorded in French by Catherine Deneuve and has been released in 2024 by Éditions de Femmes in Paris. Yakimchuk has been personally affected by war. She lost her family home in the small town of Pervomensk in Luhansk region, which borders Russia and which Russian military forces occupied in 2014. So I want to read, and her poetry has received international acclaim and has been translated into over 20 languages. The New York Times, BBC, CBC, and CNN have covered her works. It's a poem that I personally like. I also wrote a poem about the prayer, Our Father, but this is a poem titled Prayer, which I think it really describes where we are today. Prayer, Our Father, who art in heaven, of the full moon and the hollow sun, shield from death my parents, whose house stand in the line of fire, and who won't abandon it like a tomb. Shield my husband on the other side of war, as if on the other side of a river, pointing his gun at a breast he used to kiss. I carry on me this bulletproof vest and cannot take it off. It clings to me like a skin. I carry inside me his child and cannot force it out, for he owns my body through it. I carry within me a motherland and cannot puke it out, for it circulates like blood through my heart. Our daily bread give to the hungry, and let them stop devouring one another. Our light give to the deceived, and let them gain clarity. So the poems are translated by Oksana Maximchuk, Max Rohochinsky, and Svetlana Lavochkina. And I again encourage you to read all the poems in this book. We are at the final reader for today, Vera Sirota. Let me get her bio. Vera Sirota is the proud granddaughter of Ukrainian immigrants. She is the author of the chapbook With Bow to No One, published by Bottle Cap Press in 2023. She serves as the communications associate for the Hoboken Historical Museum, where she works with poet in residence Denny Schott on poetry programming. Vera is a co-founder of the West of Willow Poetry and Music Collective. Please welcome Vera Sirota to close our reading today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Claudia. And thank you, everyone, for your beautiful words and inspiration, and to New Meridian Arts for hosting, and for the incredible art of Oana Maria Cajal. If you'll bear with me for a moment, I just would like to acknowledge my parents are here, Marko and Tamara Slywynsky from Michigan, my uncle, Nastud, and I'm so proud to be also the niece of Ksenia Rychtycka, who read earlier today. So just happy for our Michigan contingent of Ukrainians. The poem I'm going to read today is called Despite All Odds. It is based on a true story, and it is dedicated to the courageous and resilient Ukrainian women and to the resistance. So happy International Women's Day. When the air raid siren blares, I remain defiant in my bed on the top floor of my home. I dare a Moscow missile to find me. I am 99 years old. I survived the Nazi invasion. I survived Stalin's terror. I survived Soviet oppressors. I will survive Putin's pillagers. Hope animates my heart because this is a national trait, a pride that propels us, a song that sustains us. We bow to no one and never will. So Slava Ukraini, and thank you everyone so much.
Wow, thank you. Please turn on the mics and let's applaud this wonderful, wonderful moment. So I just got chills. Oh, thank you, thank you. We still have a few minutes left of our
Bravo,
chat.
bravo.
Yeah, I just got chills. I felt like I was hoping that Vera would read that poem. She has such a good delivery too, and it's such a great poem full of hope, and it really, I think it's a great closing for our reading tonight. So if anyone has any questions, we can answer questions, or we can, I don't know if anyone has any comments or questions.
Claudia, did you post where the book can be purchased? I'm looking in the chat. I finally found the chat. I
There
wrote
is a link, should be a link in the chat.
in the chat. Okay, very good.
It's on Amazon, and it's available. I'm also I recorded this reading, so I will post it on YouTube, or I have to see if maybe New Meridian Arts will post it. We'll discuss that. But yeah, it was an exciting time to hear all your voices. Thank you so much. I highly encourage you. This collection has many luminary names from Romania, poets that I admire, poets from Ukraine, including Lesia Ukrainka with a wonderful poem, and so many wonderful voices, very moving poems that encourage you to read. And thank you again for contributing to our project. If anyone has any questions, I can answer questions. And I also want to say that we are going to have more events in the future, in the near future, maybe in this spring. Some of them will be in person, but I think this will be the only Zoom event online. But our project continues, and we'll have exhibitions and readings coming up soon. So I hope I'll announce all of those, and I hope I can see you in person at some of them. So lovely to meet you virtually, the people that I didn't meet, I didn't know before. So thank you so much for spending your Saturday with poetry in support of Ukraine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Well
Yeah,
done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia, for this moment and for everything you did